that was good. My toe was hurt at the end of the day. They're not used to being in heels, but whatever, it's a win. It means we're getting closer to spring and summer. All right, we have a jam-packed team meeting. Listen up, pay attention, take some notes, and then this is going to be a really good team meeting recap for you to be able to download some of these slides or any of the stats. So we are all about numbers today. Numbers, baby. All right, so we're just going to start with first, we're going to recap our regional awards. Just here, we're going to talk about the agents that are in our office, as well as Prestige Germantown, who we've been supporting. We're going to do some stats updates. We're going to talk all about listings, listings, and then obviously highlight upcoming training and hopefully some listings that are coming soon. So let's just first start out with a shout out for our regional awards. So we would like to, next slide. And we just want to formally here all together, unmute yourself and give a big shout out, like ring the bell, holy macro, do it.
Yay!
Yeah, Cody.
Rookie.
There you go, Cody.
I know, like, right? Seriously, amazing. Rookie of the year in the region. So let me just give you a little information about our region. There are 31 offices, 31 market centers in our region. There are 4,500 agents. I wish how many were in the running for the rookie thing, but who really cares? We got it out of our market center. So I'm so excited. And this does not come lightly, and it takes a village. This means we were all here to support whatever role we played. So we're so very excited. So I just wanted to make sure we recognize Cody again. So excited. All right, so next we have an award winner. And I'm going to read something to you. So this is what's called the Red Shoes Award. And this is an award that I think possibly only our region gives, I think, because this is what the explanation of the award is. The Red Shoe Award is given out annually to a market center leader who goes above and beyond in leadership within the region to contribute to others for the greater good. It is given to someone who makes an impact in our region. In my 4 months in the role, and this is coming from the regional operational manager, Bryn is her name, it is clear that Scott embodies the red shoe culture. There is not a week that passes that Scott does not email me something of value to share with all of the other market center leadership. He is the first to participate in masterminds and conversations. He passionately jumped into facilitating agent masterminds. When Jake and I, Jake is the regional director, have something to discuss with OPs, or we need feedback or a favor, Scott immediately comes to mind. He gives freely to others and approaches leadership with enthusiasm. So that is what the Red Shoe Award means. So unmute and yay! The red. Well, so exciting. So that's a shout out there. That's a very special award. So look at us. Look at us, Market Center 1063 in little old New Berlin, Wisconsin, taking over. This is because of our culture. It's because of you guys. I have never been so excited in my life. So thank you. Thank you for being the best place to work. And we thought at the same time we would recognize, again, let me just say here, 4,500 agents in our region. So if your name gets on the top 10 in the region, it is a big time amazing. So look at that, number 10 in total gross commission income, our Sarah Papp. Cheers to Sarah Papp for making it to the top 10 in the region. That is awesome. And then our next slide, I think we've got somebody else on here. We've got the Sold by Sarah team out in Prestige, little old Germantown, Wisconsin, number 6 in teams. Oh my gosh, so amazing. And then what do we have here next? We have our volume. So we have the Sold by Sarah team, again in Germantown, Prestige, number 7. Holy mackerel. Ring-a-ling-ling. I'm pretty sure when I go to my annual exam, my doctor's going to say you have some hearing issues, and it might be because of the cowbell that I continually ring in my ear. And just this, I don't know why this is on here, but anyway, I am part of the International Associate Leadership Council. Is that what that is? International ALC. So just wanted to let you guys, I'm there to represent you. I'm the voice. It's been an honor. So what happens is every region, and there's 30 plus regions, chooses 3 people to internationally represent the agents, as we are a company that is run by agents. So Jessica and Nate are agents. As you can see, one's in Maple Grove, one's in Burnsville. So if you're looking for any referrals, why not send it to these people? And then they pick 1 leadership member in the region. So I am so honored to be part.
You're on there because it's a big deal.
It's a big deal, exactly. It's a big deal to have Kim on this.
Anyway,
There's a lot of people and they chose her, so it's pretty awesome.
And I am just proud to represent. So it's pretty cool to be part of this market center and seeing our faces everywhere. So
Okay, we need cowbells for Kim. Woo!
Cowbells for Kim.
Hashtag cowbells for Kim. Awesome.
Kim, can
All
I
right,
say
and-
one thing on that, please?
Yeah, please do,
So
Scott.
just go back to that slide if you can. So yeah, like this is a huge deal. And she was able to step right in and have like one of the most historic vote of all time as a company. And Gary has set this company up in a way that he can't make decisions just like on certain things, just like in our local market center, the ALC votes on things. They just lowered, they just did some things where we're voting, and it's a company run by agents. So this is at an international level out of 190,000 people. And that's not even including the leadership. So there's probably well over 200,000 people working for KW, and Kim is on that, and huge deal. So how long does that term last for? Is that 1 more year or 2 more years?
That's a good question. I have no idea. I didn't read the small print and I just signed. You know, that's
Shocking.
how I roll. I think it's 2 years.
Yeah, it's a 2-year term, so.
So it'll be up soon. It's been a year, so.
Mhm.
Thank you. Much appreciated. All right, so our gross agent gain. So we track, obviously we're all about growth, just like you're about listings. So look at this. So this is our top 5 in our region. We have Milwaukee North Shore at 101, and we have our office at 70. So I am so proud for all these agents that we added, and that's because of you guys, because you are raising the bar of the industry. Agents don't want to join our office unless we're great agents. So thank you. Thank you so much. I love it. Love it. So that's pretty exciting. And then our net agent count. So we also track this because this would be like if you were to take listings but never sell them. Well, we haven't heard that. This is 2021. I mean, pretty much you could list a doghouse and it'll sell. Point being is we can hire agents all day long, but if they're all walking out the door, then we're still not growing. And so look at us here. We've got Milwaukee Southwest at 31 and Milwaukee North Shore at 42. So this is pretty amazing for our Metro Milwaukee area. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love it. Woo! Now we get to talk stats. Woo! Okay, everybody. Eyes up here. So just let's all just do a 3-second. We're gonna inhale in and out. We're gonna go in through the nose. Are we ready? And then out through the mouth. Let's do it one more time. I didn't see everybody calm. I need you to calm. Ready? Set. I hope this is just as exciting in the playback for anybody who watches the video. So we're going to talk some numbers here. Guess what? I was listening to a podcast this morning. Shocker! And so the one that I was listening to, Keeping Current Matters. So I don't know if anybody follows Keeping Current Matters. Write it down. KeepingCurrentMatters.com. I would also follow them on Facebook. You can also pay a membership to get this information. I love Keeping Current Matters. So this is the 2020 final house appreciation numbers. So you can see here, homes have appreciated. You see 3 different stats here, right? Depending on the source. But obviously we can tell when we're talking to our people, it's between 9 and 10%. Okay, next slide. So our next slide of numbers is look at the United States, February year-over-year housing inventory. Whew, okay, everywhere, you can see that our inventory in comparison to last year, look at the numbers. We can see Wisconsin down 54.7%. So it looks like if we look here, we are all going to move to Hawaii. Hawaii is only down 4.8%. So if you need a home to buy, people, that was my biggest aha when I looked at this. I am moving to Hawaii. So use this. Use this when you're meeting with your people. Though it looks like DC is not a negative. Am I reading that right? So DC is the only place that's up 28.3%. That is very interesting. So, and I've heard that certain areas on the East Coast, New York to be exact, are starting to recover. So this is good information, good numbers to have. I know this is not shocking to you. So next slide. So this is about, is this like the last time? So for those of you who were not in the market between 2004, 2007, this doesn't mean anything. Personally, for those of you that were, it does. I also want to talk about this because this is the buzz that's out there. For any news that you're listening to that is real estate related, you'll hear it over and over again. Is this like 2007? Is this like 2007? And so as a little refresher, and we'll go to the next slide, here's what it looked like, 2004 to 2007. So on the left in red is the annual home price appreciation in 2004 to 2007. Okay, so just take a little time, process. And then on the right, 2017 to 2020, that's the average annual appreciation. So this number is important for several reasons. And then we're going to go to the next slide, and you guys will all get this in your team meeting recap. So I want to talk about this. So this is why we are not in a market like back in 2007. And here's why. Back between 2004, 2007, prices were increasing, as you saw. Inventory was high, and everybody could get a loan. Okay? If you could breathe, you got a loan. There were no restrictions like they are now. The products were very easy to get. Now where it's different, there's two things that are alike. Today, we just saw our homes are appreciating at the level of almost an average of 9 to 10%. Our inventory is down versus up back in 2004, 2007. And the economics and the supply and demand is different. Does this make sense? So when somebody says to you, as you are a student of real estate, is it like what it was then? It is not. There are reasonable lending standards today. So it is very different. Doesn't make the pain of the work that we need to put in any easier. It's just the market is different. Does that make sense? So I thought this was a very interesting slide. Okay, so then if we move to the next slide, our next number to visit is months of inventory. So this is good for you to know, right? Again, we're comparing 2004 to 2007. It is not the same at all. Inventory is very low now versus you can see inventory was high then. And the difference being it was very related to lending. So it would take homes a long time to sell because first of all, if I was behind on my mortgage because there were no standards, I shouldn't say none, there were, that's not fair. It was just different, okay? So it's not like there weren't standards. However, it wasn't quite as restricted as it is now. I could go and finance a home for 105%, but then obviously if I needed to sell, I had no equity in my home. And so it might take longer to sell, one, and two, that was kind of the biggest. I don't have a two. Does anybody have a two? The point is, we didn't have the equity that we now have in our homes. That's the biggest difference. Okay. So the next slide is what does this mean locally? And then we're gonna open this up for some discussions. So today, every single person in their email box who belongs to the Metro MLS received an email with the housing market stats. Today is when you need to read your email, okay? You can drill down very locally if you'd like. So you can see here, if we look at new listings, so February 2020 is down 33.8%. So we in Metro MLS, all of Metro MLS, listed 1,157 homes. That is 33.8% less than last year of that time. So if you multiply that out last year at this time, you could figure out how many homes we had on the market then. So these are numbers to pay attention to. These are numbers that tell a story. These are numbers you can use to get listings when you print this and you go and you door knock. You can use any of these to explain to your database why we want to check in with them to see if they're interested in selling. And then one other statistical slide, we're going to revisit this. So thank you, Allison. So check this out. So we started tracking this little new listing, and there's other ones that you're getting in your team meeting recap, accepted offers, expireds, and so on. So you can look here, like if you put your head tilt a little bit, you can see we started March 1st to March 7th, 2020. That's when we entered our little pandemic. And I was like, whoo, we need to start tracking these so we can visually see what's going on in the market. There are a couple things I want to point out. If you look at March 8th through March 14th, 2020, you can see that 556 listings were new. And this is in our 5-county area. So this is even drilling down further. If you look to the left, this is Waukesha, Milwaukee, Racine, Ozaukee, Washington. And then we go over and we see, okay, how many did we list this year at that time? It's 473. Okay, so it's comparing year over year, really drilled down to our 5-county area where we mainly sell homes. These can be used when you're having your conversations with your buyers and your sellers. These are for you to put in your presentations. Okay. However, here's what I want you to know. What we're hearing is there are no listings. Can somebody tell me how many new listings were taken in the 5-county area? Somebody say this number out loud. What does it say for new listings?
473.
473. Is that zero?
No.
473 listings were taken. So what we want to talk about is how you're going to take those listings. So we should never be saying out of our mouths, there are no listings. That's a negative affirmations. No, there's 473 listings. So if you look at that, what if you were to take, 10 of those listings or 7 of those listings or 3 of those listings? Like, I'm just looking to get 3 out of the 473. Does this make sense? Change your thinking. There are listings. The question is, are you taking them? And if you're not, how are we going to support you to get you there? That is the story of the numbers for you. Okay. So I want to open up. We're going to have some conversations around this. So last week, if we go to the next slide, I can't remember what I have on the next slide. Last week, we opened up to a big wide discussion where we talked about this, and we didn't talk about the buyer perspective. We didn't talk about scripts and all these kinds of things. So I want to open up a little bit based on some of the conversations we've been having on our 9 a.m.s or when we're running into each other in the hallway. So we just talked about what to do with the stats. I know that people are printing these stats and door knocking. I know that people are getting listings from door knocking. I encourage you to look right now if you're on Zoom. How many people are on this Zoom? Does anybody know how many people are on this Zoom? Approximately
53.
53. Okay, 53. So there are people, like, go look at the squares right now. Go find a square of a person who you like and you want to go door knock with. You don't have to do it yourself. So that's what you can do with the stats. So I want to talk about where to find sellers or where to find homes. So Peter I'm going to start with Peter. Peter, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
here.
So can you share your story about how you put together an accepted offer? And I think you wrote over asking. I don't remember, but I was just about fell off my chair.
No, it was under asking price.
Oh, under asking. Yeah, that's what I mean.
So,
Over asking.
yeah, so what I know what we all do, we all look at the hot sheet, and then obviously buyers want to call up and go look at the house within 5 minutes and stuff like that. So what I do now, because it becomes very stressful because you're getting a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails. What I do now, before I even look at the hot sheet, I look at the price reduced properties, the back on the market properties, then I do delayed, and then I look at the hot sheet. And what I did with one of my buyers, the property popped up on back on the market. So I don't think a lot of buyers are looking at the price reduced and back on market properties. So what I do now is I intentionally go in there myself and look. And I found her a house that was back on the market that was over her. It was at 260,000. She could only afford 250, and she wanted to go take a look at it. So I scheduled an appointment. We looked at it, and then she said, "Hey, Pete, I would only want to offer 230,000 for this house because it needs some work done to it." So what I did is I called the listing agent. I said, "Hey, I don't want this to be offensive, but this is what we would offer if we wrote an offer on it." And she said, "Great, write it up and see what we can do." Well, we went back and forth, and and the seller decided, yes, we'll take it. She could have a home inspection and appraisal. And then he also threw in a $1,600 closing cost credit. I know this is kind of, out of the norm right now, but it was actually a nice feeling to do that. So I actually did it with another buyer, property. She didn't catch it. I caught it. Because I don't think buyers are looking at the price reduced and back on markets. And it was a condo for her. And we went to go look at it. And again, it was on the price reduced, but it was just too big for her. So there are properties that are popping up. You just have to be a little more, just a little more creative and just kind of be a little more hands-on and check the MLS, daily yourself, just to kind of see if you can kind of put something back together. I have started looking at properties that have been on the market for a little while and have been emailing agents just asking if, would you guys take a less of an offer that might be over the buyer's price range. And so that's what I'm just doing. I'm spending a lot of time just talking to other agents to see what we can do. Because if the property's been on the market for a long time, I'm figuring the listing agent price, thinking like, what am I doing wrong? And the seller's like, why is my house not selling? So you can kind of go in there and negotiate price and stuff.
So, okay, so that's kind of a reinvention, right? Like you weren't doing that before. You're reinventing yourself, given the market that we're in.
Right. Yeah, because I wasn't really looking at all my contact managements, and I started looking at them, in the last week. And some of the buyers I have, haven't looked at something in months, and I'm like, why not? But so I'm just really concentrating on my contact management right now.
Yeah.
And looking at what people are, just make sure I'm updating. Like I email my buyers, just say, has anything changed? I had one lady yesterday. She only wanted 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 3-car garage. And she emailed me yesterday. She said, why did I get this from you? I got it from Redfin. And I said, well, where's the property? And I looked it up, and it was a 2-bedroom house. I said, well, you only wanted 3 bedrooms. She said, well, I'll do a 2-bedroom, but I'll put an addition on. Well, you didn't tell me that. So now I went and I adjusted her search criteria. Mm-hmm. So I just reached out. I started to reach out to all the buyers and just saying, hey, has anything changed? Do we want to expand the search, narrow the search? Would you be willing to do a 2-bedroom house? And I'm just changing that with everybody.
That's a really good point, Peter. So we used to be able to just like set up searches and go, right? Set it and go. It's not like that anymore. We have to actually go help the buyers find. I love, Lisa, you just posted in the comments. What did you say? You just got 3 AOs because you pulled what?
Oh, just that 3 of our buyer AOs this year so far have been those back on market properties that something fell through. And then there's not that new listing flurry where you're fighting against 20 people. Like one of them, we walked right in as the only offer. And then 2 of them we had to fight for, but it was against fewer people.
Yeah. So one of the tips I heard on the podcast I listened to this morning, and this isn't new, I'm sure you've heard it, but going into MLS and pulling expireds from 3 to 4 years ago. We were a very different market 3 to 4 years ago. Now, this is, hear me out, it's going to be WORK, work. Okay. So when I say you're going to go pull it from 3 to 4, you got to go find out, did they ever sell? So there is some work you're going to need to do here, people. But if you were to pull it and you found some that didn't put it back on the market and sell, you just would, your script would be simply, I know you put your home on the market 3 years ago for X. Would you be willing to sell it for X? So yes, it's work, right? But that's what we have to do right now to find listings when we have such an inventory shortage. I don't know if anybody's successfully done that yet. So I'm going to read one line from the shift. So this hits home, and then I'm going to open up. I want to hear what Steph is doing right now, because we were talking about a strategic plan in her database. So this is on page, in the shift, page XXI 10/20/31 in the forward. It's brilliant. When the market reinvents itself, you must reinvent yourself. You simply need to pick the results you want and match the effort match the effort those results require. It will take extra effort, whoever you are and wherever you may be. You must drop the bad habits of a good market. And the bad habits of a good market are, we set them up on an MLS search and then never do anything else. It's not bad, it's just what used to work that doesn't work anymore. So you must drop the bad habits of a good market and adopt the good habits of a shifted market. It's extra effort on the things that matter most. Does that make sense? Like, resonate. If you need to read that every day to get your mindset right, read it now more than ever. So Steph, I'm going to open it up to you. What is your tip or your thing that you're doing right now in your command database?
Sure. So what I did was just pulled over the weekend all of my years, and I was not smart enough when I did my tags initially to put the years in. We were kind of joking about that on the Morning Mojo today. Because Joe did, so kudos to him. But I went through and pulled for the last like 5 years. I have a really nice closing spreadsheet, but the other years I had to go through MLS and pull a list of all of my clients. So what I'm doing is working on getting those tags put in for the years, but really looking through, oh, I know where this person's house is. I know what that neighborhood is pulling right now. Let's run a CMA. Let's give them a call and try and see if they're interested in moving. And obviously talking through that time conversation that you had a couple weeks back, where don't worry about where you're going to go. We can control the time with the buyers because you're the one in the power seat right now, but really just getting intentional in my database and not just doing the care calls and, how are you? Do you know anyone else? But looking at maybe 30 people that I could potentially see as being in a place to want to move once they know what their house is really worth. And if they don't want to move, then of course, you flip that into, hey, have you refied recently? Have you looked at getting PMI off of your house? So looking at anyone that's 3 years to 10 years in their home. So that's what I'm working on.
I love that. So there's another script, because remember, the National Association of Realtors states that the average is every 10 years, somebody's moving out of their home. So that's a perfect script, right? How long have you been in your home? If anybody says, I would say between 5 and 10 years, I might want to ask them like, should we do a market analysis? Whatever. That's an average. So especially if it's 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, the market's very different than when they bought the home. So I love that. That's a great idea and a great tag to add to command. So, okay, Joe, we were talking, and oh, by the way, you guys, I'm picking up all these tips from our 9 a.m. Like, this is where I'm telling you, like, these 9 a.m.s are so amazing. I'm getting so much great information. So I don't know, Joe, can you talk right now to talk about the yikes letter?
Yeah. We went over that. I believe it was Mark that was putting it out there, or CJ was putting it out there. You can do this around any listing, but it's simply called the yikes letter, and you can look it up. But it essentially, you call out the exact address of the listing that was there, and then you call out the people's names that were like your buyer's names. And it simply says, like, if you've thought of selling, contact us because we have a pre-approved buyer ready to rock and roll in 30 days.
And so you said like, I could just go Google yikes.
Just Google
letter?
real estate yikes letter. That's how I found it. And there's like tons of them.
Okay, real estate yikes letter. So you can mail it or you could door knock it. And oh, by the way, Mark Smith is not here right now, I think, because he's taking a listing from door knocking.
Correct. Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh. That's how you fit in your skinny jeans. You door knock and take a listing. Oh my gosh, it's perfect. All right. Who else? Now I want to get some, and then Scott, I'm going to give you the floor to talk about your 5-a-day because it goes in conjunction with this, but I feel like Tina, maybe you had something to add in relation to this as well. Listings, something listing related.
One thing on Mark, because he's not here, talking with him, if you want to be around that guy right now, like he is on fire. He is very, very just, he's taking listing after listing right now. He's going door knocking, and he was with, I believe, Tina Monroe one day on the 9 a.m. What they're finding with door knocking is that it's fun because people are home and because they want to talk about real estate. Like this is the one thing they want to talk about, and you're just there showing up to their house and saying, hey, you want to talk about real estate? Where everyone's talking about pandemics and politics and social unrest and all these things. Like real estate is something that is good and fun to talk about, and they're home. And they're just like, I couldn't believe it. There was like 8 out of 10 people home. They all wanted to talk to me. It was so much fun. And Mark right now, if you talk to that guy, you know when someone is just like, they're just like hitting their stride. They have that energy, and you just hang out with him for like 10 minutes. And then you're like, okay, now I have the energy.
That's awesome. Go ahead, Tina.
I was just going to say, I think one of the things that we're experiencing is just sellers just nervous about where they're moving to. Like, I know Lisa Packard said it, you know, that she would have a gazillion listings right now if there was a place that her, you know, sellers could go to. So we are putting together a marketing piece of just, we used to put together like our 30-point marketing piece, and really, unfortunately, we really don't have to market them anymore, but it's more of a safety plan for the seller of what can we do to make them feel safer? Can we, you know, make sure that like the last couple that we've listed, you know, we put in MLS private remarks, you know, sellers looking for a 90-day post-closing occupancy, but with a quick close, right? So can we close in 30 days because my seller's got a right without a property contingency, because we know that's not getting accepted. So can we close in 30 days and post-occupy for 60 or 90 days afterwards? So we have another listing coming up right now, and that's exactly how we got it, was just with that plan, letting the seller know like, yep, we're gonna protect you. You're hopefully still letting them know, I mean, I can't guarantee that you're gonna find something, but we're gonna do our best to make sure that we're setting you up correctly. So that's just a marketing plan that we actually wanna put together and start door knocking with as well. Because it's really not about so much marketing it, and the sellers know that. I just think we've got a lot of sellers right now that are like, yeah, it's a great market, but where am I gonna go?
That's a great idea. Shifting, yeah. Okay,
The last 2 deals that we're putting together both have, one's got 30 days post occupancy, and other one's got up to 12 months. It's a duplex, so it's a little easier to facilitate that, but that's how flexible people have to be apparently on some of these properties, and are willing to be.
yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Mhm.
Is anyone seeing buyers actually pay for this occupancy? Because I know for me, when I am writing occupancy, so far we haven't needed to do 60 days, but we've done 30 or less. We've been giving it for free. And I'm just wondering, is anybody paying for occupancy?
So my seller in this last one, she got it for free for 60 days, and she's gonna pay for the last 30 if she needs it. So, which she's grateful to do so, right? I mean, so good to do for her.
Think about though, like just put it into a dollar amount instead of going $2,000 over, do free occupancy. It's like, it feels way better as a seller to have a free month or 2 or 3 than it would be to have 2 or 3 extra grand or, you know, 4 extra grand on an offer. Plus it doesn't affect the appraisal. So if you really want to win, and what can you do in there that's not going to affect appraisal? Oh, we'll give you up to 3 months free post occupancy. We'll alleviate all your concerns. Like, what?
Well, that's the offers that have won out. It just has not always been the highest priced. It's always been based on terms and what was really important for the seller. So in post occupancy for the sellers right now is really important. Where are they going to go? They don't want to move twice. An extra 5-10 grand is worth being able to stay in their house for another month or two.
One
And
thing
make
that
sure to tell the listing agent that you're doing these things specifically because it's not going to affect the appraisal. So you quantify all the extra amount that you're giving them and saying, here's $12,000 of value or whatever, but we didn't go 12,000 over because there's a chance it won't appraise. So be sure to tell your seller that these are sure things that's not going to come back in 25 days when the appraisal potentially is low or whatever.
Go ahead, Allison.
The one thing that I've been consistently doing and is actually part of my action items with my coach is just automatically sending out market analysis reports to my past clients, whether it's, I look at the month and I say, okay, who closed 3 years from now this month? And I just automatically send it out and say in the email, I thought you might be interested in what the real estate market looks like and what you could sell your home for today. And then I follow up with a phone call. And in the past few weeks, I've scheduled a few listing appointments just from that alone. So it's not necessarily you like reaching out to clients and getting their permission to send them the CMAs, just send them and show them that, you're the realtor of choice and they should list their home.
I love that. I love that. And
Can I
for
ask a
anybody who,
question about that, Allison, what are you sending? Are you sending like a quick CMA or like the whole 20-page thing?
The whole MLS CMA.
Okay.
And a very descriptive email. And as far as like, I look back at what they bought their home for and then what the CMA came up with. And I say your home is worth 16% higher than what you purchased it for 3 years ago. So I'm very specific in the email about like how much they could actually make this time around.
nice. All right, who else? Does anybody else have some tips that are working for them right now to find listings?
I have something. So since the start of the year, I've been actually following the DT D2 calling plan that they teach in Bold and elsewhere. So I've actually been keeping up with calling, usually calling. Some people it's been a text or a personal email, not like the automatic or smart plan email. But I've actually done it as instructed since the year started. And so I've been in contact with people that I might have forgotten to call last year or maybe for 3 years. And it is working. Like I am doing a better job staying top of mind. And so I've reconnected with people and people are sending me referrals that I haven't gotten referrals from before. And I've got a listing coming up that is a result of actually reaching out and reaching someone just at the right time.
That's awesome. And so for anybody who's new or visiting, it is do the
database 2.
Do the database 2, which means you're calling 2 different letters and it's at a different time. So the way that human nature works, we go to our database and we're like, okay, I'm going to get in. And then we're like, we go to A and then we go to B. And then all of a sudden we get an accepted offer and then fires are going off and blah, 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 blah. And we don't get back to it for another month. And then we go back to A and we go back to B. And we tend to call the same people all the time versus this system is set up so you're calling different people and you're touching everybody in your database. So you can tag them appropriately in command and set up a smart plan and it will automatically tell you who to call. Dan Schmidt, in case you're listening. I can see he walked away from the square, but I'm holding him accountable to this. Tiffany, in case you're listening. So you guys got an amazing database. You got to get it set up for this system. So, all right, Scott, I'm going to give you the floor so you can talk your whatever you wanted to talk about with scripts and your ideas around that and anything else to add.
Cool. And this is all like conversation that leads right up to it. So one thing, just the way the math works on the DTD2, which is makes me think of Terminator 2, and it's a bad name. But if you think of that method, there's 13 weeks in a quarter. There's 26 weeks there's 26 letters in the alphabet. And so if you do 2 a week, you'll call everyone every quarter. So it's just, there's 2 letters, you tag them, boom. And I love the way math works in the formulas. So it's like, that to me makes sense. There's 26 and 13. So anyways, come with me if you want to list. So when I'm looking at this, and this, like Kim mentioned, we are having amazing conversations on the 9 a.m.s. And this came about organically, but everything that we've talked about to this point just really leads into like, this is a simple how. This is how we can make this happen. And this started with a question from my coach, my maths coach, the coach I pay to help us grow our team. And the question he asked us, and I'd love for you guys to answer either in the chat or unmute yourself. So this is your warning to unmute. What, and I may have asked this already, I apologize, but what percentage of your database?
This is Alicia. What can we get started for you?
That wasn't the question. What percentage of your database knows what their home is worth in this market? And Allison is doing this proactively by sending out CMAs, but who would want to answer that in your database? What percentage of the people know what their home is worth right now, what they could sell their house for?
I'll say 30%.
Okay. 30%. What are some other numbers? Don't be shy.
I don't know what number, but I'm sure it might be low because I'm looking at the ones I'm working with right now, and it's probably about those people out of like 500.
Okay, so how many out of 500? About?
Be like 25.
Okay, so 25 out of 500. And just to give you an idea, I had to think about that question too, and I responded with about probably 15%. And we do a really good job keeping in touch with our database, but that question never crossed our mind. Hell, if I think about it, I don't even know what my own home is worth in this market. If you think about that, what could you sell your house for right now? And you're in real estate. So if you don't know, your clients don't know. And so my challenge for everyone is, and we're here to say, how is Keller Williams going to proactively go about and take listings in this market and uncover them, uncover the rug, kick up some dust and see what sticks? So I'm going to use Lisa as an example. She's got 475 people that she could call, and she could ask the question, hey, I'm just curious, do you have any idea how much your home is worth in this market? And see what they say. And my proposal to keep it simple would be to contact 5 people a day and ask them that one question. Hey, I'm curious, do you have any idea what your home is worth in this market? Because when you ask them that question, you're going to get like 1 or 2 responses. You're probably going to get, I have no idea. I've heard it's really crazy, but yeah, I would love to know. Or it would be like, you know what? I have my forever home. I love my neighbors, blah, blah, blah. And you'd be like, oh my God, I love hearing when my clients or people love their house. That's so cool. You know, good for you. Because money isn't the only reason people would move. But I would promise you, out of 475 people that Lisa could call, there would probably be at least 100 of them, and that's the most conservative I could be, that would say, yeah, I am curious what I could sell my home for. And in that case, what I would propose is you'd say, cool, I'm going to do some research. It's going to take me about a day, maybe 2. Can we set up a 10-minute Zoom meeting where I can share with you the stats and the numbers that I came up with? Just because, you know, you can make that happen and very proactive. You could set up little 15-minute CMAs. And what if you set up like 8 of those a week or 4 of those a week, and you could just talk to them and show them what their home is worth? You're going to be having conversations and helping people make a great decision. And what I want to challenge you with mindset is, you are in charge of their biggest financial asset of their life, most likely. If you're a financial advisor and you had a hot stock tip, a no-brainer stock tip, you would be fiduciarily obligated to call them and tell them about it. So why, as realtors, when the one time in our history that this market is as crazy as it is, we have a fiduciary duty to share with our clients what their home is worth, not to get them to list, but to get them the answers to make a great decision on whether they should sell or whether they should stay. And so if you think of it that way, you owe it to every one of those 475 people to ensure that if they want to know what their home is worth, they know. Because even people that bought last year could sell their home for 20 grand more with no contingencies. I would be very, very, in most scenarios. This is a perfect storm that's not going to be like this forever. So let's take advantage of it. And now when you talk to them and say, oh yeah, I could sell your home for this, you'd be like, oh, that's amazing, but I have nowhere to go. Well, guess what? We just talked about that, what Tina and Jeremy and everyone was mentioning. You tell them, I have a proactive approach where marketing is no longer the most valuable thing I can do. The most valuable thing I can do is be creative and innovative in this market to make sure you get your dream to come true. And so what I propose is that any offer that you have come in, you don't have to accept. This is the time when you truly test the market. Let me do the photos, let me spend the money to get your home show ready, and let's see what comes in, because right now this is all theory. We'll see if you get 1 offer or you get 10 offers or you get 41 offers, because at that point we can use real data and real advice to make a real decision. And I would suggest that you don't accept any offer that doesn't give you at least a 60 or 90-day post-closing occupancy. And we're even going to push for the buyer to pay for that. And now you'll have your home out from underneath you. You'll have great buying power, and you'll be able to live in your home for 60 to 90 days, right? Like, that's your conversation. And you're just helping them. You're not trying to be sleazy. You're trying to be helpful. And the last thing I would add to this, and I could summarize this in a video, but the last thing you would add is, and this is what I do for my buyers. What neighborhoods, whatever neighborhoods you like, I will go out and personally door knock, and I will see if there's anyone that's looking at selling. I will send out letters. I will do A, B, C, and D. So you're actually getting a listing by telling them what you would do as a buyer agent that other buyer agents don't do. Because right now, Joe or Sue, it's no longer good enough to just set you up on an MLS search. These are 10 things I do that you won't find the other 7,500 realtors do. And at the end of the day, you could be their shining hero. You could get them in a place, you could get them a ton of what they want, but it does take a little work. It does take some creativity, and it takes that right mindset to guide them through to the right process.
Okay. Do we hear the passion that we are exuding through the screen at how we're not going to stop talking about listings? We just gave 3 examples. 1, calling expireds that were expired 3 to 4 years ago, and having the conversation in the script around, you listed your home at X 3 years ago. Would you sell for X? 2, the real estate yikes, YIKES letter, sending it out, door knocking with it. 3, do you know what your home is worth? These are all 3 you pick one. So here's the thing. Don't pick them all. Just pick one. Just one. Just one. Does that make sense? So we give a lot of ideas. You pick what works for you. And all of these, it doesn't matter if you've been in the business one day or 300 years. It doesn't matter. These all can be used no matter what your level of being in real estate is. Does this make sense? Does this give you the power to go get the listings? The 500, 453. How many listings were taken last week in the 5 area metro Milwaukee area?
473,
473?
I think.
Yeah, there's listings. You just got to go get them. You got to go find them. When the market reinvents itself, you must reinvent yourself. It's extra effort on the things that matter most. What matters most right now isn't that your website looks perfect, because first of all, we barely have listings on our websites right now, right? It's not scrolling social media, unless you're using social media for some marketing, but it's not doing it all day long. The number one thing you can focus right now on is this. It is listings. It will solve everything. Everything. I am fired up. Are you fired up? I am on fire. All right, we'll go back to our schedule. Resuming, back to our team meeting agenda. Thank you, people. Does anybody have anything else to add? Well, Allison brings up our PowerPoint to get me back on track. Anything else for the good of the cause? All right. When you're thinking about taking a training, so this will be in your team meeting recap. So MAPS coaching, so there's a little link there, kwconnect.com, MAPS coaching, does have specific group coaching that you can take that is related to listings. So the link will be in your team meeting recap. So that's all I got on our listings. Scott did his 5 a day. I'm going to skip this for a second. We're going to come back to inspections and appraisals, and I want to make sure we get in a couple other things first. So what do we got here? We have offer writing workshop upstairs with Steph Sosa in person in the training room. We have budget model mastermind, which is taking place on Wednesday over Zoom with Scott. We have command mastermind, like you don't want to miss that, right? You're not sure how to do the D2T22. What is it? The DT2D. Whew. Hopefully that's not like a trackable thing as me as a team leader. If I can't say that, they might fire me. The R2D2s. All right, and then we have our foreclosure and short sale with CJ on Zoom next week. Is that next week, Tuesday? It just says 1:15 to 3. Yeah, next week, Tuesday, the 23rd. Cool. All right, so mark those dates, people. All right, what do we have next? We have Abby. Do you have anything to say for your area?
Yeah, I don't think I have time to do a little demo, but I did want to point out on the Market Center Tech Resource website, a couple changes. So if I could show those. Couple things. I made a post about the 30-day checklist being added. So even if you've been here more than 30 days, this is a list of things, and this is downloadable, that you want to make sure you have done to be officially settled into the Market Center and KW Command. Obviously, Command can be an entire year of things that you do, but these are some of the basics. So I added that in here. And then also on the main page, I want to point out that this website is really going to be merged with Prestige, because it's going to be included with them even after launch until they get a full-time Market Center tech trainer that isn't me down the road. And so I want to make this as much of a resource to those agents that I have on here for New Berlin agents. So I'm continuously, like I always say, adding to this, but I want to point out that the rosters have now been separated. As we move closer to launch, which is so close, there's a lot of operational things that we take care of to help us prepare for it so that we don't get the approval and we're sitting here for 48 hours trying to, make things make sense. So this is just one of those resources that operationally we found would be more helpful as we start to do our own thing with certain things to separate the roster. So if you click on these buttons here, they'll take you right to the shared roster for each office. And this is shared with your KW email. So the Germantown folks have their own as well. And then these lists are live and active. And so they are managed by the onboarding team. So just note, if you go to the roster and you're like, where the heck are half the people? They have their own. So what else? I feel like there was something else in here. The other thing I want to mention is the Kelly Awards. I don't know if we already talked about it, but I emailed out the Google form to vote for our fun Kelly Awards. They're kind of like the Dundies from The Office. That's where it comes from. So go in and place your votes for people in those categories. We will be marking out the winners tomorrow at our leadership meeting. So make sure you go and complete that. You don't have to answer all of them, even if you only have a best dressed person, just fill it out for that person. You don't have to complete them all. So other than that, I think that is it.
Nice. Best dressed in a square. Best dressed from the neck up. Beautiful. Thank you. We love those awards. Those are the fun ones. Okay. Is it coming soon's next? Yes. Come on, people. Tina, the floor is yours. And then if you have anything else to add, please feel free.
Okay, guys, let's open it up. Who is coming soon? Anyone?
We have one coming soon in, it's one of those weird addresses where it's like Germantown, but taxed by Richfield. I don't know. It's a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath ranch on a ½ acre, attached garage, somewhat updated. It'll be, I think, the week after Easter. Live. I think like 289.9 or something. Sorry, I was not prepared for that.
That's okay.
But it's a listing.
Awesome. Sosa?
Yeah, I have a really cute brick Cape Cod in Greenfield coming up Thursday, and it's going to be open all day Saturday. So you can feel free. I will be there. Feel free to send your people. It's a 3-bedroom, bath and a half, formal dining room, gas fireplace, super cute, 2049.
We actually have a couple of listings coming up, and Tiffany can kind of chime in on it too. There is going on a listing appointment tomorrow that we're shooing to get in New Berlin. 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Find it.
I believe on over
What's the
an
address?
acre and a half. Not sure on pricing on that one yet until we walk through it. We're also going on another one tomorrow in Mugwanago. Tiffany can give more details on that one. Our person that's rehabbing a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house in Waukesha on over an acre. That'll be going out probably in about 2 weeks. We're waiting on countertops for them. And then that'll be going out at 400. And then I'm also looking, as soon as they get it cleared out, in a state from someone we know on the north side of Milwaukee. That is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, and it'll be right around 130. But they all should be coming in the next like 3 to 4 weeks. And we might have a couple more after that, but they're all in the works.
Awesome. Zach?
We have a condo in Cudahy going live like in the next like 10 minutes or so. Photos are up. I put in the coming soon group. It's 159, 2 bedrooms, 2-bath, 2-car garage, meticulously well maintained. Nice amenities of the condo unit too. So yeah, send your buyers.
I actually forgot one. We had a change in plan on an investor property. and they are rehabbing it now. All new flooring, paint, done. Muskego condo, first floor, 2-bedroom, 1 bath, a single detached garage, and it'll be coming in a couple of weeks, probably 2-3 weeks, and that'll be right around 160.
Okay. Anyone else? Joe, looks like Joe wrote that he has 11 coming soon, and 1 is delayed right now in West Dallas as well.
Joe put together a spreadsheet. I think he put the link in there if you guys want to check it out. Check it out. I would say weekly for anything new coming on.
Awesome. Great idea. I love that.
Only 11 slackers.
Seriously.
Up with that.
Get on the phone or something.
Sorry, it's actually more like 13.
Okay.
Ooh, time blocking, lead gen. Yeah, lead gen.
Awesome. Nope. Anybody else? Thank you, guys.
Okay, go be amazing. Go get a listing. It would be so great when you come back here next Tuesday that you all report that you got a listing. So we're going to keep on talking about it. All right, go get it.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.